So social media is not a real place. However, this crazy Kelsey Mitchell thing has gotten so out of
By posting some rather bizarre remarks about Caitlin Clark on social media, Kelsey Mitchell's family just caused a huge problem for the Indiana Fever. Fans are now wondering whether there is actual tension developing in the locker room that no one wants to discuss in public due to the quick and harsh backlash. Do you believe that athletes should be held accountable for the remarks made about their colleagues by their relatives on social media? Please share your opinions in the comment section. This is just another example of a WNBA player's family member choosing to take up social media and cause drama that no one requested. Chelsea, the sister of Kelsey Mitchell, evidently thought it would be a great idea to join the Facebook posts criticizing Caitlin Clark's role in the Indiana Fever.
sister apparently commented on something on Facebook, which I'm sure if you watch Mick Talks Hoops or somebody else that they've talked about this, and I'm starting to think that the ramifications of this social media post are actually going to be felt on the court. So here's what happened. Chelsea Mitchell, which is Kelsey Mitchell's twin sister, she made a comment on someone else's comment diminishing Caitlin Clark's importance as the offensive engine of the Indiana Fever and saying that they should really be running the offense through Kelsey Mitchell. So this Steve Brown person writes on Facebook, Clark's delusional fans can stay mad and call me all the names in the book, but we all saw, including y'all, who carries my Fever team, and we all know who the offense should be run through. Whether you like it or not, these two players can win some games without Clark.
Since this circumstance is simultaneously embarrassing and entertaining, allow me to explain exactly what transpired. A random Fever fan said on Facebook that Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, rather than Clark, are leading the team's offensive attack. Anybody with working eyes can see that's not even close to the truth, so we're already off to a foolish start. However, things improve. Kelsey's sister, Chelsea Mitchell, chose to enter the comments section and essentially concur with this bullshit. She specifically praised a post that wrote, "We all saw who carries my Fever team, but Clark's delusional fans can stay mad and call me all the names in the book. We are all aware of who should be the target of the offense. Whether you like it or not, Clark cannot win a single game without these two players, but they can win several games without him."
But above that, Chelsea Mitchell, who is Kelsey Mitchell's twin sister, says, I gotta agree. And here is the thing. Kelsey Mitchell on the Indiana Fever says nothing but positive things about Caitlin Clark. This should in no way reflect what is coming out of Kelsey's mouth. Now,
let's take a moment to face reality. Although the Indiana Fever's current record of 12-12 this season isn't exactly championship material, it is a significant improvement over their pre-Clark state of disarray. However, based on her Facebook expertise, Chelsea Mitchell claims that Clark is the issue rather than the fix. Chelsea Mitchell agreed with someone who said, "It's time to start talking about how Caitlin Clark is ruining Fever momentum." This comment demonstrates how disconnected from reality the entire situation is. I don't think they'll make the playoffs with her. I could see them defeating Minnesota and New York in the playoffs while she was out.
It's ridiculous when people blame Caitlin Clark for the actions of people relative, like in her general circle, not even directly in her circle, people around her. Like Caitlin Clark's boyfriend, or her brother, the amount of stuff he got basically called the devil for calling referees bad. He got, they hurled slurs at him for saying referees are bad. And they hurled slurs at Caitlin because her brother said refs are bad. It's crazy, but let's not sink to their level. Kelsey Mitchell did nothing wrong. But this situation is really, really weird.
This raises the question of whether these individuals are following the same sport as the rest of us. This season, Clark has been missing games due to groin issues. Furthermore, the Ender hasn't exactly been destroying the world during those periods. However, the squad seems to function better without their top player in the parallel reality that Chelsea Mitchell seems to inhabit. As you might expect, the fans' response to the entire situation has been extremely harsh. People are criticizing the disrespect and pointing out that it's quite wealthy for players' families to disparage the one individual who has truly improved the franchise as a whole. It's become too easy to say things like these about ineffective athletes who can only score and always choke. It's disgusting that the front desk is permitting this contempt for Caitlin. essentially capture the sentiment of the majority over this issue. The timing of the issue is what makes it even more absurd. Having publicly backed Clark, Kelsey Mitchell recently resigned from the Fever on a Supermax deal. In fact, Clark implied that they get along well when she commented on her Instagram story following the announcement of Mitchell's resignation. Either there is some major drama going on behind the scenes that no one wants to talk about, or Mitchell is unaware of what her family is posting.
To add on to what Christine asked about women's sports in general, you guys have played almost every game before a sellout crowd this whole season, wherever you've gone. And how much does that affect you on the court? Do you ever look around and say, hey, this place is packed, they want to see us? Those kinds of things?
I blame Caitlin. But I think it's a really great opportunity for us to kind of like present, who we are as a team. And I think that the work that the class that came in, the draft class that came in, did a really good job of putting ourselves on the pedestal to be known, to be seen. And I think that we can utilize that and tie that in with the game. And I think that for us, it's obviously a really good thing to see all these people here, but we try to keep the main thing. But I will be honest and say this, that most people have seen consecutively. So I'm excited about where it's going. Shout out to Kate.
The entire issue makes me think of the Nalissa Smith brother case from the previous year, in which family members were causing needless drama and ranting on social media. Teams should learn to talk to athletes about controlling their family members, but it seems like that's too much to ask. This is what makes the entire issue so irritating. The facts of what Clark actually contributes to this club are totally disregarded. The Fever were among the worst teams in professional sports prior to her arrival. They were virtually unimportant in terms of media attention and fan engagement, and they hadn't qualified for the playoffs since 2016. After Clark arrives, the Fever start to sell out arenas, break television ratings records, and genuinely contend for postseason berths. Despite facing the kind of physical abuse from opponents that would cause most athletes to give up the sport completely, she is averaging outstanding numbers. However, Kelsey Mitchell's professional analysis suggests that the squad might benefit from her absence in some way. Clark cannot win without them, but they can win without him. Given that Clark has never really played a game without Boston and Mitchell on the roster, the argument is especially absurd. Since it has never happened, no one is certain that she could succeed without them. However, we are aware of the unflattering appearance of the Fever prior to Clark's arrival. This season, Mitchell has been scoring a lot of points, about 19.5 points per game on average. Let's be honest, though, about what those figures mean. Mitchell looks considerably better when Clark is on the court because defenses must concentrate on controlling the most dangerous offensive player in the league. Mitchell can still score when Clark is out, but the team's offensive effectiveness as a whole suffers greatly. This is also true for Aaliyah Boston, who has greatly profited from playing with Clark. Her looks near the basket have significantly improved as a result of Clark's passing prowess and range, which push teams to make tough decisions. Kelsey Mitchell, however, believes that these players are carrying Clark rather than the other way around. This entire issue is telling because it exposes the mindset that results in mediocrity in professional sports. There is this strange anger about sharing credit for success rather than admitting that Clark's entrance improved everyone's game and opened up opportunities that weren't there before. Employees of failing companies grumble about the one employee who is generating revenue because they are receiving more attention, which is the same mindset. When someone is contributing to the success of an entire organization, there is jealousy and an effort to downplay their role rather than gratitude. This drama is made much more embarrassing for all parties concerned by the fact that it is being played out on social media. Millions of dollars are spent by professional sports teams to build a strong brand image and relationships with the public, but sometimes family members use Facebook to start a dispute that hurts the company. From a basketball standpoint, the entire argument is pointless. Without a doubt, Clark has the greatest impact on the team, and it's not even close. The defensive game plans of the opposing teams are centered around her. She is the one who creates television ratings and sells tickets. Because she creates possibilities and gaps that would not otherwise exist, she is the one who makes the jobs of everyone else simpler. Boston and Mitchell are both gifted athletes who should be recognized for their contributions, but they are not the main force behind the team's success. Rather, they are complementary parts. Playing complementing is perfectly acceptable. With the help of excellent supporting players, the majority of successful teams are constructed around 1 or 2 stars. The issue arises when family members begin to alter reality by asserting that the role players are more significant than the celebrities. It would be equivalent to asserting that supporting actors are more significant than the movie star, or that backup vocalists are more significant than the lead vocalist. This circumstance is especially harmful because it adds needless controversy to a season in which the Fever are genuinely attempting to achieve something constructive. For the first time in years, they are in the running for the playoffs. Clark is a real superstar for them. Boston and Mitchell are also good supporting players. Questions concerning locker room dynamics and if other players or their families harbor animosity toward Clark will now take precedence over the work made in fostering team chemistry. Players will have to deal with awkward questions from the media and drama that shouldn't have been there in the first place. The worst part is that things like this have the potential to become self-fulfilling. In fact, if a situation generates enough negativity, it may begin to impact team dynamics and output. Instead of concentrating on team achievement, players may begin to doubt one another or feel as though they must prove something on their own. In the midst of this chaos, Mitchell herself has been forced to answer questions regarding remarks she made while attempting to concentrate on basketball. Although she has handled it well thus far, it is a pointless diversion with no real benefit. With Clark battling injuries and the club attempting to hold on to their postseason spot, the timing couldn't be worse. If not handled appropriately, this type of off-court drama has the potential to ruin a season. This entire incident demonstrates, from a commercial standpoint, how little some people know about the factors that contribute to professional sports success. For many years, the WNBA has had difficulty attracting public attention and media attention. Clark alone has altered that dynamic by attracting new supporters and drawing attention to the Fever and the league as a whole. The fact that family members are griping about the player who brought about that change demonstrates a total ignorance of the entertainment industry. The Fever are winning more games thanks to Clark. She is contributing to increased revenue and recognition for all members of the organization. Everyone connected to the team, including the players, coaches, and front desk employees, benefits from the increased ticket sales, merchandise revenue, and media coverage. However, there is petty jealousy about who receives the most credit rather than recognizing that rising tide that lifts all boats. Women's professional sports have been hindered for decades by the same kind of narrow-minded mentality. There's always someone trying to discredit those who are genuinely making progress, rather than applauding breakthroughs and building on achievements. With good reason, Kelsey Mitchell's remarks have sparked an intensely critical fan response. People are able to see past the blatant bias and realize that these remarks are not representative of reality. Social media users have been supporting Clark's evident contributions to the squad and calling attention to the argument's contradictions. Prior to Clark's arrival, the Fever were among the weakest teams in the league, according to some fans, with Boston and Mitchell on the roster. Why wasn't the team winning before Clark arrived if they were indeed the secret to success? Even a cursory examination of the reasoning is insufficient. Clark's influence extends beyond basketball statistics, as others have noted. She has raised attendance, generated a buzz about the team that didn't previously exist, and brought the franchise national attention. The value of those intangible contributions is equal to that of everything that appears in the box score. The entire circumstance also emphasizes how Clark and her family are treated differently than other athletes. They have been called every imaginable insult and made to remove posts or issue an apology when Clark's brother or boyfriend made innocuous remarks protecting her from physical abuse. However, it is somehow viewed as less serious or more understandable when Clark is directly attacked by other players' family members. The obvious discrepancy demonstrates the type of prejudice Clark has encountered over her career. This issue must be resolved right away going ahead to avoid becoming a greater distraction. Mitchell should talk to her family about not posting their thoughts on social media, particularly if they're causing controversy that could harm the team. A team-wide conversation regarding social media guidelines for family members should also be considered by the Fever front office. There are ways for family members to encourage their athletes without stirring up conflict or treating teammates disrespectfully. In the end, perception matters far more in this dispute than actuality. The basketballs are transparent. The main contributor to the team's recent success and the most influential player on the roster is Clark. There is no amount of drama on social media that can alter that fact. However, in professional sports, perception counts, and even if the dispute is baseless, it can still cause issues. It is in everyone's best interest to put it to rest as soon as possible. The bright side is that this circumstance has served to highlight how much fans value Clark and acknowledge her contributions to the team. The outcry against Kelsey Mitchell's remarks demonstrates that most people are able to recognize overt bias and are not duped by efforts to downplay Clark's accomplishments. Family members' outbursts on social media only serve to add needless drama to a group that was genuinely creating something constructive. The fact that some people would rather stir up controversy than celebrate success was essentially demonstrated by Kelsey Mitchell's sister. This entire situation demonstrates why gamers should avoid interacting with their family on social media. For more WNBA reality checks, like and subscribe.